All right, folks, this is Burning for Dallas. I am your host, Evan Price from the On Your Left Power Rankings, and I'm here with three of my favorite people in the sport of triathlon. We got two Bens today. Benny Randall, who will go by Benny today. Ben, Captain America Kanute, who will just go by Ben, not Captain America. And Caleb, the Kale Salad Pennington. These are three competitors all getting ready and gearing up for the start of the season. But with this podcast, we don't have our man who was on the first two episodes, Josh Monda, who will be coming back. We have replaced him with somebody who is objectively on another level than the other three guys on this podcast. So we will get a good mix today of mid-pack training talk and a guy who's competing for the win, which I think will be a better mix than when it's just all four of us talking about the middle pack racing. Oh, we're all gearing up for Dallas Little Elm 70.3 in 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Does anybody know off the top of their head? Somebody should know this on Training Peaks.
I think
and you know this answer.
5 weeks?
I think it's
6 weeks.
I think we just got through to 6 weeks. It's coming up to 5 full weeks away. Yeah, it's middle of March. So what we are going to discuss today before we get going is a little bit about our guests. Now, if you don't know who Ben Kanute is, you should listening to this, but if you don't, do some Googling, watch some old ITU races, watch a guy go toe-to-toe with Alistair Brownlee. You know, that's some fun YouTubing for you on the trainer if you need to brush up there. But what I want to know from you, Ben, is instead of an intro, give us how Ben Kanute got into triathlon. What age? How old were you when you got into triathlon too?
I like to say I grew up in a transition area just a little bit because my dad was doing triathlons back in the mid-90s. So I always start off by saying one of my earliest memories is watching my dad race the Mrs. T's triathlon, which is now the Chicago triathlon, on Lower Wacker Drive, like watching him go by on the bike in downtown Chicago. But I just, kind of to make a long story short, I think I was right place, right time, where the suburbs of Chicago were just a hot spot for triathlon, like late 90s, early 2000s. And so a lot of parents who had kids were doing triathlon and age group triathletes. And so a lot of those parents got together and put together a kids triathlon team, like a kids triathlon at the local health and wellness center. So I did that as my first triathlon at about age 9. And then a couple years later, there was a guy who grew up in club swimming and swam competitively, and triathlon was just put into the Olympics in 2000. And this is probably about,
right?
Yeah. And this is probably about like 2004-ish that he's starting to 2003, 2004. He's starting to put together this team with the same idea of like, if we have club swimmers going to the Olympics, we can do the same thing for triathlon. So that was my introduction then into the Olympic style triathlon and doing draft legal stuff as a youth and junior. So that was kind of how I got started that way. So I did like swim team technically first before, but I've always kind of been a triathlete throughout the whole time. Yeah.
You were kind of in the first generation, in my opinion, of like actually youths geared towards triathlon as a sport too. Like just that being the primary, at least in this country, primarily as a focus.
At least starting it early. Cause like I still did a bunch of different sports growing up but like as I got older, it was like, okay, I specialized more and more. And yeah, I think we were kind of like, maybe not the first kids team, but definitely one of the first kids teams. And early on too, like one of the more successful ones as like other teams started to get established. So kind of like, I would say, yeah, like my age was and my age group back then, we were kind of the first crop of people to go from like youth triathletes to professionals with like maybe the odd person here or there who also did it.
Who else was it? So how does your storyline, like timeline mix in with like Schumacher and Hunter Kemper? Like where did you fall in that timeline?
I'm not that old. Not that they're
those were
old, but like,
I know. Because those were the Sydney Olympics
guys were like
guys.
elites when I was a youth and junior.
Gotcha.
And then kind of crossed over, and then we all raced elite at the same time for a period of time. So, I mean, I took my elite card back in 2012 and started racing as an elite that year. But I think a lot of those guys beforehand. So if you look at collegiate national results, like going back, you'll see a lot of professional triathletes who dabbled in triathlon back in college and were competitive. But like Hunter Kemper, I think ran in college. Greg Billington ran in college. Like a lot of
Hmm.
these guys either swam or ran. Joe Malloy swam.
Joe Malloy, yeah.
Yeah, so he swam in college. So a lot of them were single sport athletes that would like do collegiate nationals and then they
Gotcha.
would become professional triathletes like afterwards. So we were
Yeah.
one of the first ones because I was in that group with like Kevin McDowell, Lucas
Hmm.
Verzbickas, like a lot of those guys who they created that elite triathlon academy. They tried to do like a pipeline thing to bridge the gap between youth and junior high school athletes going into college because they kept losing everybody to scholarships. So we were kind of the first ones to connect from high school across through college and then be professional that way.
That was when that was when collegiate nats was a blast too. Was like that 2012 to like, or like 2010 to like 2018 region of collegiate nats. I know Kale will say that like it's great still now, but that was like, I feel like core memory of just when collegiate nats was awesome.
Yeah, I think just collegiate nationals is always just such a vibe. Like it's just
Yeah.
people wanting to
It's a
go hard. Like
cultural experience. It is.
you have the whole spectrum of the sport. People who are there to like win,
Yep.
people who are there for a good time, like the energy's high. Like, yeah, I always enjoyed it. Like it was always just a fun atmosphere.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and roll around the table now. We're going into first thing we're discussing is just raw training volume. So we'll go through that before we get into best and worst. Let's go one time around. We'll make that quick. And then I want to spend a little bit more time on best and worst this session. Let's go. Let's go Kale. Let's go around. We're going to go Kale, Ben, Benny. Go ahead, Kale.
Go from smallest to largest here. So I had
There you go.
20 hours of training this week, which is 1 hour more than last week. It's slowly increasing. I had 10 hours of riding, 40 miles of running, and about DK of swimming. So kind of just kind of generic base building week again. Finally putting in a little bit of efforts on all three sports. So kind of getting excited for some more specific sessions coming up.
Nice. Ben,
Yeah. So
this I'm interested to hear.
I had a in between week. So like the week before was a light week, and this I had a weird week because I did a high rocks. I'm that guy. So I had 18 hours of training, just over 18 hours, and let's see, swim. I was 4 hours and 40 minutes, like 14,000 yards. Gets messed up because I don't convert meters. Bike was only 8 hours. Run was 3 hours and 51 minutes. And so the run mileage too is going to be a little weird because again, I ran indoors in high rocks, but it was about 30 miles of running. And I did a couple hours of strength work this week too.
Nice.
So
Ben,
yeah, starting the
in a
build.
bike week, like that for you, how many sessions do you have? Like how many of those are like structured sessions in an 8 hour bike week for you? If it was a more normal week, let's say, but just like you can even look at this week.
Yeah. So this week, well, I'll just look at this week. We just shifted around. So I did like my long run and long ride on
Early
Wednesday and
week.
Tuesday. So
Yeah.
we just moved it around. So I had 4 bikes, but this week I had some neuromuscular build, like spin ups. I had what we call like medio work, which is kind of like a zone 2 or sub threshold, kind of like a sub threshold type work, longer intervals, like 20 minutes, and then an easy ride. And today we had just high cadence tempo intervals. So like 70-ish percent, 60%, somewhere that's 60-80% of FTP for like 4 minutes at like 110 RPM. So
I was gonna say
that was
RPM.
lighter.
Okay.
And like this
110's
is
hard
just
to hold.
yeah, and this is like the very beginning. Like the next couple weeks will really push the volume and start to bring in intensity because like the
Okay.
past month
Yeah.
has basically been kind of just that boring base work overall with not very much intensity at all.
Is that pretty typical for you? This like as a build is like that January month is usually like December, January's base for you.
Well, I mean, this is like my first real off season and build with Neil because in the past
Okay.
I had a different coach, and last year at this
Mhm.
time we were packing boxes to basically move here to Colorado. So my like off season, like
Strength
my
work.
winter training got pretty shot. So we
Yeah.
had more time to just kind of build a lot of that, like just kind of aerobic base. But honestly, like nothing super crazy because we have the Kona slot. We have
Mhm.
both world slots, so we can kind of take our time a little bit too and not have to like rush in and be red hot early.
You can be very patient this year. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
especially with the racing now starting in mid-March. That's like, at least for North America, that seems like such an early start.
Well, and the topic of the week is basically January hero. Like that's what everybody's talking about. Like, are you being a January hero? And who's going to show up? Like, I just think
Joel
we'll have
Joel
so
out
many
there
guys who
causing
show up
coffee
super
table
fit.
arguments. Yeah,
Yeah,
Joel just threw that match into the. It's
yeah,
fun to see the world burn in triathlon for that one.
I love it.
I do.
Everybody's it.
I love every offseason we get something that we all just love to argue about for no reason. It's 20 meters and training volumes every year.
Yeah. Hey, we can justify working hard like in whatever way. It wasn't even like I like how when he did that, a bunch of people came out and like took it super personally. And
Yes,
we're
you
like,
could
I'm
tell.
not training too hard. And it was just like a
Yeah,
generic statement of like, don't go too hard right now. And like some people just jumped on that. Like, I'm not training too hard. And he's like, I probably wasn't talking to you, but you kind of said
that's
a
probably a
lot.
great litmus test if somebody's like too cranky already, like they're already tired of everything. Is if they get that
Yeah.
pissed at a Joel Friel post, that they're like
See, but I
gonna go
find this
wild.
is this is triathlon silly season where it's like nobody has, and now it's changing because we do have races like the crazy one in Abu Dhabi
New
and like you
Zealand and all
can
that, and
race
Abu
all
Dhabi.
around.
Yeah,
But usually it's like everybody's sitting back and like trying to race. They just want to race so bad that they're like
yeah,
flexing on Instagram and they're doing all this
Swift
stuff. Like
racing.
it's almost like performative because we don't have that racing outlet. So it's just like all these people posting some of their big workouts and like, I'm so ready to race. And then the racing comes and,
It's like
then it's
it's
all
like
sorted. But it's
it's like we're
just
cycling
hilarious to
back.
me.
It's like we're cycling back into 2020 when we were all like Swift racing because there were no races. It's just everybody once a week was doing a 20-minute all-out effort, like absolute all-out
Yeah.
efforts.
Dehydrating ourselves for the weigh-in, like UFC
Exactly.
fighters to like
Yes,
make
it's,
weight for those
yeah,
lift
it's
races to do
just
well.
to lose to Lionel anyway. It's like none of you are beating Lionel in this race. Like
No, it was
he's gonna.
Anthony Costas. Anthony Costas
Yeah,
on
Costas
whatever
was
his
so
like
good.
he was so
I
good at
will.
those lift races.
I'm not even shamed into saying I watched those. I would be on a trainer watching his Swift race. I remember in 2020, I'm like, we're at the bottom now, guys. I'm watching people ride a trainer virtually right now.
Yeah,
That's
it's
worse than
well,
kids who watch
actually,
people play video
I
games.
don't want to tangent too far, but I got it. There's this one guy on Instagram, like, I don't know if his name is Farmer Watts or whatever, but he's the e-cyclist. The dude throws down like 400 watts for like 4 hours in these e-bike races and training and stuff. And he's like some dude,
Wait,
he's a
e-bike?
landscaper by trade. Yeah, like e-bike world championships and stuff. And this guy,
God,
he's not like super light, but he just throws down massive power for just hours. It's insane.
that's crazy. I mean, the Swift numbers do blow my mind sometimes. I'm just like, I hope these people don't just start trickling into triathlon or we're all in trouble. All right, Benny, give us your week. Speaking of January heroes, you're about to hear a pretty massive week here, Ben. This is we're gonna clip this and send it to Joel right after.
I was just gonna say I have to follow up all this, and I'm about to say like, yeah, like a total hero week. Yeah, so I was at 30 hours for this last week, and it was 15, like a hair over 15 hours cycling. With the long ride today after the swim meet long run combo yesterday, which Evan, I was texting you earlier about this. I never want to do that again. I always want to do long ride first.
Yeah, we're not doing that
Yeah.
combo again for sure. You're
Oh
getting
my
Monday.
gosh.
You're getting Monday almost off after this weekend.
Yeah. Let's see, a little over 63 miles, so like 7-ish hours of running, and about a 30K swim week, so 7 hours or so, 7.5 hours. Yeah, good
Ben,
week.
Ben, what's rolling through your mind there as you hear that?
Everybody has like different goals, right? Like this is the Burning for Dallas show. Like if you're trying to get like pretty
It's a
darn
very fair
fit
point. Yeah.
for Dallas, like
Yep.
I've seen, like I know Jason West has put in 30 weeks. I saw Freddie Funk doing
Yeah.
a 30-hour
Yeah.
week. Like I've seen guys hitting that, so it's not like abnormal. I think Neil's philosophy, like I'll hit 26 hours in a couple weeks. Like
Yeah.
we're
In a couple weeks,
he
you'll be there.
usually takes a bit more of a conservative approach to all of that to like just leave extra room, like take all of the low hanging fruit first and then go. So
Mhm.
like we can all argue about like what a hero week is or isn't, but everybody's in a different place. right now
Yeah.
too. And you
Yeah.
just start with where you're at. Like I also like, kind of slowly adding things on. You see what take all that low hanging fruit, and then, you leave maybe the high volume for like in that
Mhm.
build to Ironman Texas for me. But I
Yeah.
think too, like, if you want your 70.3 world slot, like
Gotta
Dallas
be
is
fit
going to
by
be a
Dallas.
competitive race. Like guys have it, but it's also going to be a battle. Because how many slots are there in Dallas? Like two, probably, maybe
Probably
three.
two.
I
I
think
think
it's
it's
2.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at what the start list is starting to develop. Guys are gonna
Yeah.
be
It's
smashing this. It's like the Oceanside before Oceanside.
I know. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's actually, I was thinking originally, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a pretty light field. And then the more guys I hear going, I'm like, never mind. This is going to be just like the warm up to Oceanside for everybody.
Is Morgan going to be there? Like, do we have that confirmed?
Yeah. I have no idea. I
I've
don't know if he
heard,
just threw that out there.
yeah, I've heard, that's his like he wants to do that and then maybe Worlds or something. Like I think he's trying
Get
to
a
go
slot.
in and
Yeah.
grab it. Yeah, but he
That's not
also
a
had a
bad idea.
super late
That's a
season
smart
too.
call from him. Yeah. And like, if he's fit enough, he might as well just go to Dallas and grab his car and grab his slot early.
Yeah,
Yeah. Especially travel wise, it's easy. All right. So definitely not as strong as Ben's week, but I'm trending just like Ben, you were saying the same ideas. I'm trending towards Dallas being a big race for me. So up to it was like a 11-hour, 50-minute bike week, I think just under 12 hours, right at 50 miles running with like a lost mile or two on a treadmill. I think my treadmill watch don't agree. And then 20,000 yards. So that was like 23 and a half, 24 hours for me, which these days with how like that's near my peak, like 24 to 26 hours, I think in my current life state is just like pretty much peak volume for me. I won't say it guaranteed. We might go over that, but that's 24 to 26 is where I'm rolling for like 4 to 6 weeks going into a race is about as much as you'll see from me. Okay. So let's go best and worst session. Kale, we're going back to you. Ben, how we do this is like you pick one session, could be from any of the three sports, but you give session. Actually, I almost want you just to talk about the high rocks and say that was your
that's
best
pretty much all.
session.
My week was pretty fucking rough. I'll say
and then
overall.
and then
So I'll
got to
talk
say your
about that.
worst session of the week where you felt absolutely terrible, just the absolute worst session of the week too. So, all right,
God.
Cal.
So I am again going to say a swim was the best workout of the week this week. I had 3 rounds of 400, 200 with 20 seconds rest between each of them. So 20 seconds rest across the board. Was doing short course meters and I swam 458 into a 227, 457 into a 226, and then 452 into a 224, which is pretty good for me right now. Like we're starting to really feel like 112 short course meters is feeling pretty good after 1600 meters of swimming. That's right where I want to be. This is the best the swim's felt in a while. So I'm kind of excited to get out in the open water and get after it.
What was that 45
And
minute swim you told me about too? You had another swim in there that was pretty impressive.
I had a disgusting swim. I did 45 minutes straight and I just like wanted to start kind of like everybody says zone 2, but like around like a 5 or 6 out of 10. And I went through the first 400 in like 5:15, and I just decided to just like hold that the whole time and swam 3,500 meters in 45 minutes without stopping, which again, for me that's pretty solid. Like I felt pretty sore the next day.
That's a great swim. That's a great
And
swim, man.
then my worst session again was a run. We had a 6 mile progressive where I started the first two at 8:15 pace, and my heart rate was already 155, and just feeling like maybe Evan and I ran too fast the day before, and moved into the second
You were feeling
progression
that
of like
Sunday run.
dude, I was feeling absolutely terrible. And then the
You hung with
second
us at
section
least.
was
Yeah.
yeah, and then absolutely, that was everything I had for the whole first 3 days of the week. And then second 2 miles was like 7:45, heart rate 157, just like breathing hard at 7:45, which is not a good feeling. And then the last two, I got to go tempo, and it was 6:20 pace at 173 heart rate, which is even for me, like not a very strong runner. Like that's 15 seconds slower than tempo usually is, and about 25 beats higher than it usually is. So that was a true struggle of what are we doing out here, man? And it was gorgeous. It was 50 and raining, like no excuses at all. Just did not have it.
That's the January grind, dude. If you can get through that run, you're set for the year.
Your
That would be the
description of
worst feeling run.
gorgeous too is against like every
Rainy.
triathlete. It's like 50 and raining. That's like half the triathletes listening are like, "Oh, that's a treadmill run. I gotta go inside."
Dude, that is fun. I actually coached
That's
some people
perfect
who would have
conditions.
hopped on the treadmill that day.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Get outside, boys. Come on.
Ben, what's your thoughts on that 45-minute version? What are you swimming? If you're just going all, what are you doing? 700 meters maybe for 45 minutes?
45. Okay, so throwback to before Rio, I used to do a 5K. I think it was 5K time trial in the pool, and it was long course meters a lot of the time. I would have to go
Long
back
course.
and try
Oh,
and
God.
check my notes. I swam with these couple of guys who coached me because I swam one with like the club team at the U of A who we would do crazy swim sets. Like the New Zealand coach would be like, "You're gonna do 8 100s on like the 115 holding 52s, like short course yards." And we were like, "We can't hold that." He's like, "Just do it." And we would be like hammering these. I did like test sets for like 10 300s, just like
Just do
trying
it.
to hold like 300 or under or something, just like hammering. Cause I got so shelled in the test event. I was like, my swim, I have to get it up. So I just hammered. But I think I did those K swims in like, maybe it was 4 or something, but it was in around that hour mark or a little under. Like I started to go
Don't say
under.
an hour. God dang
It was, yeah. I mean, I was really good at those long. I would not suggest that to anybody, but I started getting like really pretty low. Like the first couple I did, it was just nice and smooth. And then I started to race them. And I don't know, I think I have the times written down, but I ran into somebody once who like knew those times and they were like, "Yeah, they were saying you were cruising like 110s for like long course meters or something back then." So my rule of thumb, I try like if I'm short course yards, I could hammer out a 5K in under an hour if I'm like real efficient with it. So I don't know. I haven't done like a straight
Dude, I'm literally
hard
doing
swim that
1,000
long
yards
because
less.
45 minutes hammering out. That's more of a mental battle than a physical one too. That's a tough.
So that's all it takes to swim with Alec Brownlee at the front of the short course races. You just have to swim 5,000 basically at just under threshold.
But ITU, like you'll see it, like Yele Geens and stuff. Like he was always a good swimmer, ITU style, but like the guys get out speed. Like you look at like a Hauser who's good all around, but like the get out speed in ITU, like you have to be able to swim like for sure under 60 seconds for a short course meters and probably like low 50s for short course yards just to like have that
to be able to match that speed. Yeah.
To just like have the get out. And then you're looking at like 200 and 300 speed because you got to like everybody starts to get fast for the first 100. So that's where I think like the long course stuff is different, where it's like those 45-minute swims are like the long steady swims. Like you can make up time in the second half, or you could be stronger throughout the whole thing because we're not just like hammering that first 200, 300 meters.
Yeah. There's a different world of racing. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, give us, now that you're a hybrid athlete, go ahead and give us your best and worst of the week.
Well, I guess the highlight of the week, I don't know if it was my best workout. Yeah, I don't know if it was my best workout, but it was definitely my hardest one of the week. Honestly, most of my workouts were kind of shit this week because I was like half sick. I don't know if you can still like hear it in my voice, but if I had to pick besides the high rocks, I had a pretty solid swim early in the week with some 300s going threshold and short course meters where I was working my way down to like, I was like 320-ish for 300 on like I forget what we did them on. I want to say like 4 minutes or something. We had some rest, but yeah, the high rocks was probably the best just because it was the first run workout and I kind of just was solid. Like I was averaging sub 320K pace. And now, I mean, it's like the swims in Ironman and stuff. Is it really measured 100%?
How many reps of the Ks is there?
It's 8. So you do a K run and then you do one of the stations and then you do a K run. And so you cycle through. And yeah, I mean, it was fun because like, even the elite guys, like I just I was at least 30 seconds faster than pretty much everybody, like the total time. So I just kind of surprised myself a little there because I was like, this could go anyway. Like I just haven't done any sort of threshold running even a little bit, except for like one lactate test just to see where I was at to kind of set my zones for the first couple months of the year. So I'd say the running felt pretty good considering I'd mainly just done like 30-second pickups, strides, maybe some hill reps, that sort of thing. I'd say most of the stations were pretty good. I wasn't super fast on some of them. I was surprised, like I did 0 ski erg and actually did pretty good on the ski erg. Like it's just like it's a very
ski erg's
aerobic
not
event.
Easy to go all out in. But
And
your
you don't
swimming
like
probably
go all
really
out.
helps there.
Yeah. Honestly, like maybe this is a bold claim, but I think the elites should probably be going sub 50. I think that's like where the real potential is in high rocks because you should be running
if the sport ever develops.
pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be running 3 pace. And then these guys really hammer the stations. Like my wall balls, that was the worst thing. The sled pulls were hard, pushes were fine, burpees were
How was
okay.
burpees?
They were just
I'm terrible at burpees. Yeah.
It was just like because my heart rate was like 173 like the whole way, like for 60 minutes basically.
That sounds
But then
terrible.
yeah, it was pretty rough. And like again, like coming in like half sick, not doing very much. I'm like, this could go any way. Like I could crush this or I could be terrible. And I was a little bit of both. But the wall balls were awful. Like so my best like was the running in there, and that was my best workout of the week. My worst workout of the week was the wall balls in the workout because you're just so smashed going in. And I already like when I'm fresh, wall balls are pretty rough. Like it's kind of half a ball sport right there. And I chose endurance sports because I'm pretty terrible.
The timing is very important to wall ball. Like you have to have the timing
so
down
like,
perfectly.
It's a 9-kilogram wall ball and you have to throw it up. It's like 9.5 feet or something, but there's 2 targets. So
that's tall.
You have to do 100 of them. I could get like when I did them in my gym here. Yeah, when I did them in my gym here fresh, I'm like, okay, I could string together like 20 solid ones or 30 solid ones, but you're fresh. When I got to that station, I did like 7 and half of them counted because I was hitting the lower target. I did like 30 extra wall balls because I would lose power. I'd do like 4 good ones and then I'd lose power and it'd start to go lower. And then the judge behind me is like, you got to go lower, like with the squat down. And I just was like letting it drop. I'm like, this is terrible. I'm so bad at this. I'm like talking to the guy next to me. I'm like, these suck, man. Like, what the hell? So it was, overall, it was a good time. Like I didn't take myself too seriously. I wore a shirt the entire time.
Oh, that was your problem. You would have done better with wall balls if you would have popped the top off.
Yeah, I know. Pop the top off. Actually, there are a couple ex-triathletes like who are retired and stuff like Ryan Petrie from in town too. Like he used to do mountain biking, like some pro cycling stuff. Yeah, and he raced triathlon back when I was at U of A. He was at ASU. He said he took his shoes off for the wall ball eventually because he just felt more stable. Because like the shoes, like the super shoes and stuff, you're like kind of wobbly.
Super shoes, you're right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't think I could push a sled in super shoes. That would be like weird. I feel
like I wore the New Balance Supercell Elite, and those ones were relatively stiff and they had pretty good grip. So they're like not fully super shoe, but they were like pretty good for that. Like I felt pretty good. Like I didn't feel like they were ever like too squishy, but the sled, like, honestly, the sled push too, I felt like was pretty, like I was going pretty well. The first 2 stations, like I was fairly competitive, but the sled pull, because it's so far across, like you have to get the rope taut and then be pulling it. It just wasn't moving well for me.
That's just body weight, man. You just needed 30 extra pounds. You just don't weigh enough to pull that. That's 100% body weight equation.
I just think like High Rocks is a cardio event, a cardio event disguised as a strength event. Like all of the stuff there is like technique or cardio based. So like if some people who can run and just get like decently strong and have good technique go in, like they'll own
You're
that.
right. Because you said your heart rate's pegged at 170. That's not a strength event. Like that's definitely not a strength event. Then
it's
if your heart
event.
rate's pegged.
It's honestly
LT2. Yours whole LT2.
Cyclocross. It's a cyclocross CrossFit race, basically.
Yeah.
Like you're
just cyclocross of the running world.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it is. It's just like I tried to think of it as almost like a 10-mile run, like a hard run. like a tempo threshold type run, because it's like around that like hour effort if you're going like
You need
really
to
hard like a
challenge
race.
Joe Skipper. You need to make an awesome YouTube video with Joe and fly Joe out
I'm
here
sorry, Joe Skipper.
next
Like
off
you
season.
give me 3 months of high rock. I'm gonna make a bold claim
You're
here. Like
smoking
you
Joe.
give me
Yes,
three
do it
months of
right now.
you give me 3 months of high rocks training and even 6 months, and dude, I'm smoking the elite 15 guys. I got a lot of respect for the workouts that those guys do, but you just let me be able to like get some real strength. Like if I took a break from triathlon or something, I think I could get like a really pretty fast time.
Skipper's getting these hands. He's getting smoked.
I
He's
beat
getting
him on the wall
smoked in
balls
that
my
race.
first try. Dude, he took 15 minutes for mine
I
was
saw
8
that
minutes
video.
and 45
I
seconds.
can't judge him because it would take me just as long, but that video is hilarious when he's
I
trying to
know.
do those wall balls.
If I could do a few months straight of wall balls, I think I could
That'd be
do
your only
pretty
training
much.
in the
Yeah,
garage wall
but I
balls.
just yeah, you just see me in my garage just doing wall balls, just like.
This
But
is
it's like,
not,
who wants to do
this is not
100
my
wall balls
favorite
and then do?
horse. This is my
Yeah,
favorite session of the entire Burning for Dallas thing is Ben Canute's wall balls
my wall
at
balls
a
was
High
the
Rocks
worst.
event.
It was so bad. It's so embarrassing. My wife was there. She took a lot of videos so people can laugh at me as I do my wall balls because it
She
was
probably
the
claimed
worst.
she wasn't even your wife. Someone was like, "Oh, is that your husband?" She's like, I have no idea who that guy is.
But through the whole thing, like I was on pace basically to like break an hour, and she would like go like, "You're on pace to break an hour," like because I could tell my times too. I'm like, okay, I'm like in that range, like it's possible. But I knew in the back of my mind, I'm like, the wall balls are coming up, man. Like the ball sport
Or she's like,
ended.
"Never mind, you're not even close."
I know. I like, but it was cool because like I just think like triathlon killer. It's like the indoor triathlon. Like people could get super close. The spectating in the
Yeah,
State Farm
that's gotta be
Stadium.
fun to be around. I kind of want to go to one because it seems like a super fun environment.
Yeah, but I'll say like they're losing out because they're winning because they're charging spectators $30 to go into the event, but they're losing out on getting mass people watching.
Yeah,
Like in a
yeah.
State Farm Stadium like that, like you could have charged like $5 for a wristband for
Got
like
a
3
ton of
beers,
people in there and
and you
sell
could have
food.
had
Yeah,
so many people there yelling. The atmosphere would have been crazy. It's the old thing I tried to tell Bill Christie with like Miami and Daytona and stuff. Like,
hmm
give a wristband for like, or give drink tickets, like charge $15 for like 4 beers and have a DJ playing in the middle of the stadium for the atmosphere, which is pretty much what High Rocks is doing, except for the beer part.
just
And
make it a
then you
party in
can
there.
yeah, you make it a party, and then triathlon starts to become the spectacle. People will like do side bets on who's going to win, or they'll
Horse
heckle
racing.
people, or like,
And that's what it
yeah,
is. It becomes Kentucky horse racing, which is exactly what brings
yeah.
everybody there. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, half the people are not there for the horse race, but it's a
no,
cool atmosphere.
nobody
People
knows the
like when
horse
they hear
race's name.
cheering, they start to cheer. And so that's where it's like,
Exactly.
I was like I could talk to my wife like on the rower. I'm like telling her because like I could kind of recover because it's like I'm not a rower. Like me going hard on the row is gonna buy me 10 extra seconds. Why am I gonna do that? But I'm like,
Yeah.
I was so bad at the burpees. Talking, I'm like, what the hell? Like
The
this is
cheering
like
would not
terrible.
help the wall balls, no
Yeah,
matter what.
and then I made eye contact with her at the wall ball. She's like, keep going. I'm like, it's over. Just stop.
Like you can
I'm
leave now,
done.
babe. Just leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Don't
like,
watch us. This is
yeah,
so embarrassing.
stop me. Pull the cord. So
All
there
right.
you go. That's
Back to
enough. Like they didn't
back to
expect to get High Rocks updates
back
in
to
a
best and
triathlon
worst of
podcast.
triathlon. Benny, give us some actual triathlon workouts, please. Here, I don't want to hear about wall
All
balls
right,
from
yeah,
you,
we're
but
done with the High Rocks now. All right, my actual triathlon. So like my best, I will say that swim that I was doing with those 5 300s. I think I have the interval. Maybe I didn't update as well as I should have, but it was no, I did have it. Yeah, it was on the 4 minute, and I rolled through. They started on sub threshold and went down to threshold. 332, 331, 329, 323, 320 for short course meters.
short
And
course
then
meters, yep.
my worst
Ooh,
workout,
320. Oh, that's fast.
I gotta say, it's probably again a swim because that was like I was feeling pretty shitty with this whatever like cough nose thing. It wasn't it was a VO2 swim, and we did like it was
Well, sick.
5K
Nice.
short course meters. So it's like Morgan Pearson and all these guys there. We got some fast swimmers. So the first part was 500 or is 850 fast, 50 easy. So you're basically just going hard and then going easy for 800. The second round was 8 100s on 140, 25 fast, 75 easy, a 50 fast, 50 easy, 75, 25, and then 100 fast. My hundreds fast were like 103, but they just, like the first 15 meters or 25, like feel pretty good. And then everything feels terrible. And then it was an 800 with paddles on, drafting. And we had 4 people in the lane. So everybody took a 200 and you're supposed to throw in a 50 fast to try and catch people off guard. That was about the peak of the workout for me. I not even get around. It's just you're leading and you just try and like create a gap.
Gotcha.
I like paddles a lot. Okay. I can use super big paddles. So I like that part of the workout. But that one was like a mental battle to just get through. Cause not only was each interval like long, like each part of that set was like 800. And then would do like a 200 easy in between each 800. But I was just suffering like the whole time. VO2, like not feeling good. That was my worst workout of the week.
Jesus. Well, I would love that as my worst swim of the week, but we know that you did years of 5,000 straight all out. So, you earned that being a hard workout. All right, Benny, give us your breakdown here.
Let's see. No high rocks for me. So
there's no 103 short course meters thrown in there either. Did you hit any of those swims?
No, it did not. I would
You're
kill
just doing
for that as
5-hour rides though on the trainer. I see that.
Yeah,
like,
he's doing
long rides.
Ben's weekly volume in a single ride there.
Yeah, and it sucks. I got a lot of messages throughout the day today from like people. They're like, "Dude, you like my brother in Christ. It is 60 degrees outside," and I'm like, "Fuck." You're like, yeah, it is. It is nice out. I don't know. I get like weird about this in the winter sometimes, and just opt for the trainer. But I think that was my best session for the last 2 episodes was the long ride. I think my best one this week was a 5x2 mile workout on Thursday, I think, and it was after kind of like a tough, like it's one of the more like technical swims that you and Josh give me, Evan, on Thursday, since that's like the one day I don't swim with
Greg
Masters.
Harper inspired swim. Yeah.
It was like that straight into like treadmill 5x2 mile session from 10:18 for the first rep down to the last one was like 9:20. I got a little carried away.
Let the record show that was supposed to be 4x2 mile, not 5x2 mile. Just want to throw that out there. That his Training Peaks did not say 5x2 mile.
Yeah, I think I wrote something like I didn't feel that hard, so I wanted to.
Oh, I miscounted.
Yeah, but no, that was a really good session. It felt like I was running like kind of similarly to how I felt when I was running with CSU. I guess like 2 years back. So really, yeah, liked that one. The worst session was the day before. We had I think it was the bike workout in the morning was 16 by 1 minute. And that session was fine. I felt really good throughout that whole session from progressing from like 400 to the last one might have been like north of 500 or something like that.
I think it was 520 on that last one, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Blew my workout out of the water there, but yeah.
It was a great session, but the swim, I swam midday at Masters, like on my like lunch break from work. And it was like usually the Masters group on Wednesdays does like a fast, like a sprint based sort of set on Wednesdays. And I think it was like 6 rounds of 3x50 on like 110. So just a crap ton of rest. And then the last 50 is just 50 easy on 2 minutes is like a reset. And it basically was like a best average set. And I just went out so hot on that. And I think I ended up holding like 30, maybe 31 average for the set, which I was really happy with for like where I'm at swimming wise. But just in terms of like feel, it was so hard. And I just did not have a lot to give.
Dude, that's a great worst session though. Like I would take that worst session for my pool swimming, honestly, right now. So I think if your worst session is like, oh, I was going fast, but kind of like Ben's like, oh, I just didn't feel good. Great sign. Like that's not a bad thing. Awesome. All right, I'll roll through my best and worst quick. I think actually my best was a run workout this week. It was pouring rain in Portland, shocking. So I decided it was Ari. I'm coached by Josh and Ari. I've been self-coached for like 14 years. And last year I was just like, I'm too stressed with work and coaching. I need the only two guys who I trust to like actually do what I would want to do anyway, just to coach me. And they've done it amazingly well. Outside of that, Ari's now on this kick that every single time he gets something crazy from Jack, he's like, I'm going to give a watered down version to Evan. So I just am doing like basically Jack Kelly's training plan, the C- version. But yeah, like so this run workout was, and this is like a classic Ari run. This stuff is like very short. It's like a very long, there's super long main sets in how he does these. So it's like warm up and then straight into 20 by minute and a half, starting at threshold and ending as fast as you can go with only 30 seconds rest, which is a pretty monster set, actually. Like, even from my like track days of trying to do harder and harder track sets, this one, I looked at this, I'm like, I don't think I would have done anything like that, because that's like almost 500s. It's like 20 by 500.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like more than 2,400s. He's got you on like a once a runner plan.
Yes, exactly.
Like you might as well just do the 6,400.
Don't get me wrong. I'm running.
Were you on the forest?
I'm running very fast right now, but I'm going to read Running with the Buffaloes or whatever, now inspire myself to get through this run block. But like I want to do it on the treadmill because I'm like, and we have a woodway at my clinic. It's a super nice woodway. So I'm like, I'm just going to set a pace and force myself to run it, because outside in the pouring rain on a track, I'm going to lose speed on the track. So I was like, we're just going best pace we can do. And I chopped down from 11.2 miles an hour on the treadmill to 12.2 the last 4 reps, which was actually, I was really happy with. Like, that was, considering that the last 4 reps all felt strong still until the last one, when I was like, that was basically VO2 max off of only 30, because the 30-second rest just started to eat me alive at some point. Like 10 reps in, I was like, oh my God, the heart rate's not coming down anymore. But yeah, I was really happy with that one. And then worst workout of the week was Monday bike. Ari loves to, like, every once in a while, Ari will just send me some message just to get me angry. He just likes to trash talk as a coach sometimes, which I think is hilarious. He sends me this message after my Monday bike. He's like, "You're slipping, man. This was a garbage bike." I was like, cool, I'll do the same bike on Tuesday. So I did the bike workout correctly on Tuesday, but on Monday, I was riding outside and like there's road construction everywhere. I just had no legs. It was supposed to be 10 by Ronestad, so like 40 on, 20 off, 40 on, 20 off at like over 400 watts. And I wasn't even close. I was just like garbage legs. So I had to do it on Tuesday, but I basically like did 4 by 3 minutes on a hill. I just like scrapped the workout and did 4 by 3 minutes on a hill. So I got some crap for that, but I don't know. Sometimes you get out there. I don't know if you guys run into this. If there's like too many obstacles for me outside, like there's road construction, too many lights, it's like got trucks buzzing by me on my favorite route. It's like, I don't like doing a workout in that situation. I'm like, I don't want to go VO2 when I got semis blowing by me in like a construction zone. So kind of just a give up.
Our favorite route is the out to the dump with all the semis.
I know.
Like, it's the most ridiculous favorite route of all time.
At certain points of the day, it sucks.
Garbage.
It sucks at some points when you're like, you go 25, 30 miles an hour, you got a semi, like, and they love to do, I think they get a kick out of it. They just blow right by us. Like,
dude, they totally do.
They love doing that. They love it.
The ones with the corn in the back have gone in front of me and then just floored it and sprayed corn waste all over me. So I'm covered in sticky, nutrition fluid. It's all over my bike.
I'm pretty sure it's the same.
And I have to like scrub my bike with the scrub daddy to get it off.
Has Josh told you about the trash guy? So the guy who drives like one of the Clark County trash trucks, who like specifically hates me. Like, Josh knows he specifically hates me because this guy will buzz me by like, I swear to God,
a vendetta?
Dude, I swear to God, he comes like this close and he's always laying on the horn. And I mean, and for Ben and Benny, me and Kel, like, I have lived here now for a decade. I've ridden this road 1.5 million times. Like, I'm the permanent local legend on this road. So this guy knows me. It's the same guy, buzzes straight by me, laying on the horn every single time. And I'm just like, I'm always like mid-interval. I'm always like in the middle of an interval and just I'm like scared for my life for like half a second.
That's like,
it's never a good time
Tucson.
to be.
Yeah,
it was always the water trucks.
Yeah.
The water trucks on mission. Like, I had back in the day, I think
they love screwing with cyclists.
Tolliston or some other guys, like, they got buzzed so bad, or Ben Hoffman, they like pulled off to the side of the road because it like came so close. And I remember a couple of times riding with my buddies where it's like the water trucks like out in the middle of the desert, like almost just taking us all out.
Just like, I don't get it, man. It's just like, over a little bit. You don't have to like us. I'm fine if you hate us. Like, I really don't care. Just like try to not kill us is all I'm asking. It is just don't run us over,
Well, the
please.
worst is, I mean, I will say, like, I hate the people who like are angry and like buzz you on purpose.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're there and they're at least paying attention, not to like condone this. The worst is the people who don't know how wide they are. Like when I
Yes.
would ride out to Bartlett
Yeah.
Lake in Phoenix, and it's like the old person driving
Yeah,
their
they have no clue. They
big
just buzzed
old
you.
like dually truck towing their RV, and they don't know to like give you the actual space because there's like no
Yeah, it's like
shoulder, and
the
so you
side
almost
mirror is
die
like
that way
here
out of
to
like,
your head, and you're just like,
yeah,
dude, do you have any idea how big an RV is? Like, what are you doing? You should not be
yeah.
driving that thing. All right, so we're gonna roll into our next section. So this is our big question for to wrap this all up. But I want you guys to think specifically about this. This is why I was glad we started with talking about some older triathlon with Ben here. But I think as we're getting into this new era of triathlon, I do think we've kind of been going into it since COVID. I think it's been slowly progressing. And I think we're starting to get into this mindset now that like training has to be this very, very specific formula. I think that everybody at the top level should be obeying. And I think we see athletes like, you know, all over the board with how they train. So what I want to know from each of you is if you, just you, knowing what you know now, could go back in time exactly 5 years. So we're talking into COVID. I'm talking right at the core of when I think triathlon started to become a really, like, at least in the long distance. Short course was already this. Ben already knows this. When it became a higher level professional sport coming out of COVID, what would you go back and change about how you trained at that time 5 years ago? Okay. Now, Kale, remind me when you got into the sport. What was the year again?
I like started actually training kind of around COVID. I'd raced
Okay, so
in
this counts.
2018, but started racing collegiately.
Oh, so
Yeah, it would have
so
been
you're
like
plenty for
right when
5
I
years.
first started
Okay,
taking it like
perfect.
kind of seriously.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
Yep.
go. Let's go for you first because you're the youngest. You're the youngest guy on the podcast. So 5 years goes right back almost to the beginning of when you started. Then, so 5 years, 2020, 2021. What would you change at that time on how you were training?
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I made one hilarious mistake, which was I never calibrated my power meter. And I go back and I look through like my power files from 2020 and 2021, and I just be like mashing crazy watts. And I look at that now and I'm like, okay, there's absolutely no way I was doing 415 for 10 minutes at like 170 heart rate. Like, come on. I was like 20 pounds of muscle lighter and just not, there's no, absolutely no way.
Crushing
So I
Zwift
would
races.
always calibrate your, yeah, like, oh yeah. And then putting my weight at like 58 kilos. Like I'm 6'4", like I'm probably not 58 kilos, but I would change that. And I would also probably not do the collegiate EDR draft legal scene. I think that that was a super interesting thing to do, but I think that my strength is definitely in long course. And like, I started racing long course again in 2024 and like in my first race got my pro card. And that's what I was trying to do with EDR the whole time. So to like feel like you spent so much time swimming and obviously like that's paying off right now to have trained the swim so hard, but I don't think I biked enough and I don't think I ran enough and I focused crazy heavy on the swim, which is important, but it's not I don't have a swim weapon like other people on the podcast do, which is thanks Ben for coming and stealing my thunder. It was the one thing I had on
I
these
know, man.
kids,
He's
but
been. This was great for Kale's ego. Ben was he got to sit on here and just have alien swim workouts to us. Then you come on here and you're like, I don't know, like 103 on a bad day, short course meters.
That's yeah. I just
yeah.
I mean, I just came back from High Rocks, guys. Like I'm in the gotta keep everybody humble,
Exactly.
right? Like I just came.
Nope.
You guys, I mean, it's way better. Everybody's got their shirt on
Nope.
here, so we're all good. We're not flexing.
This is better.
We're all,
This is better
we're
than
all
a High
solid.
Rocks podcast. So Ben, would you say, saying to Kale though, would you say the amount that you swam maybe early in your career too helped your aerobic engine though for long course? Like I do have a theory on this that actually the short course guys
Yeah,
with how
I think
hard they
swimming.
swim does help your bike long term. It just might not happen right away, Kale. Yeah.
I think swimming builds the engine
Mhm.
overall. Like, cause you can do like back in the day. I mean, when I was swimming in high school and club and stuff, like I would put up a lot of yardage and we would do like big workouts and stuff. I mean, I paid my dues kind of then because now I don't have to put up that. Like I swim like maybe 15 to 20,000 K a week. Like I might max out at 20K because I just don't need to anymore because I put in that time. And like the difference between swimming front pack and breaking away from the front pack, I'd have to swim like 30,000 yards or
Yeah.
something like silly, like
It
something
becomes a
big or
time
like
management thing, an energy
focus on the
management
swim.
thing for triathlon. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, my dad always said it too. Like, I think swimming builds the
Yep.
engine. Like,
I
it's so
agree with him.
aerobically based. Your aerobic engine just really gets developed when you're in the
And Kale,
pool.
you did that at an age where you could still become a really good swimmer still. I mean, like as you get older, like with me and Josh, you might not have either like the time available in the pool or just the ability, just like raw ability and form and all of that to be able to swim like 30, 40K a week really strong and well. So I actually don't think that was wasted for you at all. I think it's actually going to pay off long term, even with your bike and run.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to start swimming at like 19 years old and learn flip turns in college. But I also think you're 100% right. Like it's so hard to learn when you're 30 that I got really lucky that I decided to do it young. So there's always there's cost benefits.
Yeah. All right, Ben, go back in time for us. 5 years. Which okay,
Yeah.
remind me
I would
the
just say
St. George year with Blumenfeld, was that 2021 or two?
two,
Okay, gotcha.
two.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, throughout, so this kind of goes double because this was like back in like around the Olympic days, and then also like as I went into Kona for the first time, is I would stop trying to prove fitness in workouts and stop chasing what I thought the demands of racing were. I focused so much on, how fast could I run and how fast do I need to run. The ITU scene, I think,
Mhm.
can be really toxic in a way because if you're not running a sub 15 minute or sub 14 or whatever open 5K, then you won't be able to do it off the bike or you're not fast enough to
Yeah.
be there. So like even like a few days out from the Olympics, like with my coach doing 800-meter repeats, just trying to force certain times and like going in probably a bit cooked into like that race or any other race. Same thing kind of happened with going into Kona, looking at guys like Laidlow or others and trying to take their power and what they're doing and like, not even taking into account their CDA and just putting this random number out there. Like we want to try and shoot for 320 for an Ironman bike.
Mhm.
And that's going to keep us in the race. That was dumb. Last year, I rode probably 20 to 30 watts less for most of the year for all my Ironman races and was going way faster than I was before. Cause it just,
And then
when you
running
get
pretty well
caught
off
up,
them too. Yes.
yeah, when you get caught up in trying to do like workouts at the same demands of the racing and all that, like it just, I think fatigue and overtraining added
Would
up.
you
And then I
train at
was
more
racing.
RPE? Like would you really embrace more of an RPE approach, or is that just not your personality?
We did some testing early on, but it was like basic tests, like no
Mhm.
real lactate. And then we would just use workouts to base what we thought like my FTP was at the beginning of the year. So it's more of a floating carrot. And I probably did most of my workouts at a higher percent of my FTP than I
Than you
really was
thought.
at,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning of the year. So you kind of beat your head against the brick wall and you eventually break through. But in the process, there's so much more stress. And so, yeah, like I would do really great workouts. Like back in the day, I mean, before some of my best 70.3s, I did 4 by 30 minutes holding like 350 watts or
Yeah.
like somewhere in the 330 to
When you're right on the
350
front.
range,
Yeah.
just like super
Yeah.
solid. And that felt really smooth. But then I'd go back and do that workout and you try and do the same thing and meet the same watts, but you're under a different fatigue load. You're at a different stage or a different place, or the body's just different. Like whatever even the power meter might be calibrated a bit different, and you force that effort and you don't pay attention to heart rate or anything else, and you still get the workout done, but it's at a bigger
Yeah.
cost.
At what cost?
I think and I think that 2022 into 2023, I hit the right mix of like how we built and the percent of threshold we were going, like the right efforts were hit
Mhm.
and we just happened to hit those. And then I started to pay the price after Roth and into Kona. Like we did so much and just like cooked ourselves. So, and I've just seen like with Neil, like it's like, I think what is interesting in some of this is I would love to fast forward 10 years and ask a lot of the guys right
Yeah.
now, like
Yeah.
what do they regret
I
doing
think
right
I
now?
think that would be the best way to frame this question, was if we could recycle this question to like top 10 guys right now, or just the front of the T100 races right now, especially those guys, because I think they're the ones pushing the bill right now training wise. I would love to know how it turns out for them, whether it's super positive, whether we're just like, hey, we're reaching new heights as endurance athletes, or if you're right, you do run into the like, well, there was a short window where it burned really bright, wasn't able
Yeah,
to
I think
sustain.
longevity. I think
That's going to be the
longevity
question.
is being thrown out the
Yeah.
window, is being sacrificed for short-term results, for better or for worse. Like we see guys who are pushing super hard, and it'll be interesting to see. Like I thought this in COVID too, and I think there's some guys who have cycled in and out, but like some people coped with COVID by doing crazy
Yeah.
training
With no
hours,
race
and some
breaks.
people coped with COVID by not training much at all. So it's interesting to see how that has affected them, 5, 6 years down the road.
Yep. All right, Benny. Same question to you, but you would have been in collegiate running at that time, right?
So actually, let's see, 2021. I would
No,
have
you would have been
been
starting
with
triathlon.
CSU
You would have been starting
Triathlon.
triathlon at that time.
Yeah,
Okay, so this question works out for you even then too. Okay, perfect. Go for it.
yeah, yeah. Almost like polar opposite of Caleb's, honestly. If like, I feel like this one is a layup for me. Like if I could go back 5 years, it would
Swim
just be,
more.
dude, swim more. Yeah. Like we were just talking about this. Like all I did over COVID was train the house down, like on running and kind of cycling. But I like didn't touch a pool for years. Like I legitimately didn't start swimming more than once a week until probably 2024. So yeah, if I could go back, it would just be commit to swimming more. I think it's pretty straight up, and it would have yielded some different results now. But then the devil's advocate of that is, maybe how would cycling and running look for me now? So I don't know. You never know, but
Yeah,
definitely would be to swim a
maybe
bit
your
more.
bike,
Yeah.
maybe you're biking 210 and running 120 off the bike instead.
Does it level out would be the question then. He's not giving Kale 32s anymore then if he had committed to that.
I just need
Yeah.
one.
Go.
Just need one.
Nice. Going over to me on this one, the 5 years ago puts us 2021, 2020. Funny enough, this is actually, I think I met Josh in 2020. So me and Josh Ben have trained together almost religiously since 2020, basically. And I'm sure you've had your training buddies in the past too. And it's been 6 years now of training with this guy almost nonstop, and just obviously becoming family with him. Also, it's funny because I think that me and Josh could give a better answer for each other than maybe for ourselves, because we know each other better than anybody else with our training. But I'm actually going to think how I think Josh would answer this. And I think I got very trapped during COVID and coming out of COVID in kind of what I see Benny doing much better now, but what he was doing before, which is I was obsessed with impressing people around me with how I was training, because at that time I was also running a clinic. So I was busy, and I never try to use that as an excuse, because it's 100% my choice that I got into the medical field, that I coach, and I did all that. But at that time, I wanted to convince myself and then everybody that was, in my head watching, which is nobody watching because who cares about triathlon. But I really wanted to train 25 hours. I had 25 hours in my week as like a religious thing. It was like church on Sunday was 25 hours a week. And I would go back 5 years and tell myself that was dumb, because I would do some days that was like, you get to the end of the week and it's like I would do 3.5 hours on a Sunday evening on the bike for absolutely no reason outside of to get to 25 hours a week. And what I didn't have, though, which I realized at that time, but I was dumb enough to realize that, was I didn't have the carb intake like we do now. I didn't respect sleep like we do now. I was under fueling consistently. And also, I don't think I understood the importance of intensity as much, to where now I would sacrifice 5 to 6 hours of training easily in a week if it meant more high quality intensity. So I would go back 5 years in the past and say, this thing that you're on to try and hit this and be the guy who quote unquote is working hardest in the room, which was not even working hardest in the room, because now I realize intensity, the density of intensity in a week is so much more important than did you hit this arbitrary hour number you have in your head weekly. And even though volume is important, I think what really turns the needle long term is the amount of intensity you do in a week, which can be seen as volume too. I think we kind of forget that too. That's like, oh well, if you spend this amount of time over LT2 or this amount of time right at LT2, that's very valuable. And we don't always factor that into weeks. We just factor in raw volume. So I would go back in time and tell myself, you got to focus more on sharpening your tolerance to volume. You got to feel better, and you probably need to get this 25-hour idea out of your head. So that's exactly what I would go back in time and tell myself. Yeah. All right. So guys, I said an hour. We're at like 101 right now. That's not bad actually for us, because usually I ramble for too long. So that's pretty good. And we got lucky to have the guy who I'll just call him now, even coming into his early season, will be one of the favorites going into Dallas, if not the favorite, as we're not making the mistake in the power rankings in 2026 of letting Blake continually doubt Ben Kanute, because we all know that me and Bali never doubted him, but Blake was just every race.
I've had a good block of training.
He's had a great block of training. He's had a good block of strength training.
Coming up a great block.
There's going to be a curveball, I've heard, in Dallas. So as we run into T1, they're going to hand us a wall ball. They're going to be like 50 right now before you can grab the bike.
It was funny because I got to say, the amount of triathletes on the start line in my wave was hilarious. Like,
that
it was like talking to me, and like we were joking about like, we just need a swim in the middle of this, and then we're golden.
Yeah, you guys are beating everybody. It's not even close then at that point.
Yeah.
Well, also, why can't the skier?
And then somebody in the back is like, I think if we had that, people would die. They would drown.
Just make a Concept 2 bike instead of the skier. Just throw that in the middle of there.
Yeah, exactly. Just start waterboarding people in the rowing section.
Yes,
just rowing water on.
Make it the swim erg, like an actual swim erg there instead.
Yeah, that wouldn't bother me. That was high school swimming. We just pretended to drown for like 2 hours a day. Forced breastwork. I don't even know if you could do it. I think it's a safe sport violation for what we were doing in practice.
I'm pretty sure most swim sport team
literally is.
Yeah, I think most of what you guys did in the youth is
now like a violation.
Yeah.
It was just one large safe sport violation. I got stories.
Youth swimming. It's just one documentary. One's 30 for 30 waiting to happen here.
The swimming space, like, I think it has its like own, not Epstein file, but its own
for
files,
sure it does,
basically of like,
things coaches
that's just been buried.
Dude, I had a guy who told me once, he was like, yeah, my coach used to always tell me oxygen is a privilege. I'm like, I don't think that's like a healthy thought. I don't think that's a good idea.
We had a rope that would be put in the middle of the pool that you would have to dolphin kick under for every set. We would do hundreds like all out and stuff, and you'd have to dolphin kick. You're like kicking to the bit of like trying to like breathe in. Like I just got good at like pretending to breathe underwater. I'm like, yeah. And then the air quality when you would breathe in, because it was the middle of winter in Chicago, was like chlorine gas, because the pool, like, they would not circulate through. So you breathe in, and whenever we do hundreds, we'd just be like coughing on the side of the pool, like
getting chlorine gas out of your lungs.
Yeah.
This is an actual 30 for 30 waiting to happen.
Oh, I've got so many, just like, I could just rattle off swim stories. Like, you get through, our punishment was swimming fly, like 100 yards fly. My freshman year, the seniors were just jag-offs. They were good swimmers, but there was 2 of them, and my coach just loved to punish them. So it'd be like, okay, 10 100s on the 120, go. We'd get through 7, and he was like, 1. Like, because we wouldn't follow like the fly rules or something, so he'd end up doing like 20 100s fly or something like that. And it was just so brutal.
Yeah, this is why you can just sit in a front pack easy. You don't even need to swim anymore after that. That's enough. That's enough for a lifetime.
Yeah. High school swimming. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, absolute pleasure. Episode 3 of Burning for Dallas. Can't wait for us all to get there. I just can't wait for it to be warm. I just can't wait to get to Texas and actually experience some warmth. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to see you all there, okay? See you next week. Everybody stay on.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.